If I bleed tonight, if I am sad tonight, I don't have a job to find. And if I work tonight, if I'm so tired tonight, I'll fall asleep when I'm home, when I'm home. I was just so far from here, focused on my own way, with a never looking back to those who lived in fear.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is Monday night. It is 7 o'clock, and that means it is time for the Locker Room Breakdown, brought to you by the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program. I'm OMD, joined as always by my partner in crime, who's off from his shoot job, Bubba Duke. How we doing, brother?
Honestly, I have a mixed bags of emotion today. Because the last little while, like you said, I had the shoot job. I'm exhausted from that, but I am so pumped to be here to watch Raw tonight and do
Right?
this program with you guys. I've chugged a giant cup of coffee already, so I'm hoping to ride that caffeine high for the next 4 hours and rock this out. But I'm excited to go through everything that we did for last week, what's coming up. Like,
Yes.
How you been though, bro?
I've been good. Busy with work, of course, trying to get ready for my son coming home now in a couple of weeks, for at least a couple of weeks to start the summer.
Nice.
A lot of complications and a lot of implications coming up that we'll discuss later on tonight for Night of Champions. But something really bugging me about Night of Champions in this week is that at Night of Champions, every title is supposed to be on the line.
That was the original premise of Night of Champions, was every title you have is on this pay-per-view to feature the awesomeness of all the titles we have.
Right.
But what's bugging you about this? What's going on?
The fact is that this year there's very few titles at Night of Champions. They're all either being defended tonight or on Friday.
Okay.
Or at Saturday night's main event.
So why is it called Night of Champions then? No, I'm in the same boat you are now. Why are we calling it Night of Champions if you don't have all your champion titles being on the pay-per-view?
Right. But
so just call it Night of Champion instead of Champions.
Yes, and I mean, we've seen AEW do it with their Battle of the Belts show, but they do put that on following a Dynamite, following a Collision, and they'll have 2 or 3 title matches.
Which is still doing what the title of the show is.
Yes.
You're having all your titles in that 2, 3, 4 matches after the show.
Yeah. But got some huge implications, and we are going to get our King and Queen of the Ring semifinals tonight. But let's start with the first person to qualify.
Right.
And tonight, I can't remember. No, I don't think she's competing tonight. I can't remember. But we had Asuka defeating Raquel Rodriguez, Ivy Nile, and Stephanie Vaquer in a Queen of the Ring quarterfinal fatal 4-way. As we discussed last week, they kind of ruined Asuka's return by just announcing her in the tournament and then doing the vignette instead of just, Asuka returning soon, and then you could have had that moment.
Just a little quick. Mr. Best coming in saying, "Do you want a show with 13 matches? ? Laugh out loud. Yes, I freaking do. I want all those titles on the line. Like, even if you do, it doesn't have to be title matches, but as long as all the titles are featured, I would love to see the Raw Tag Team Champions going against the SmackDown Tag Team Champions for bragging rights. Who's the better tag team?
Right.
that kind of thing. They don't have to be on the line. Just give us all the title. I want to see all the gold. Thank you. So, yes, Asuka defeated Raquel Rodriguez. I was a little depressed about that because, as you know, Raquel is my girl. I like Raquel. So I feel just there's something about her that is not being utilized. Like she just has this. I think it's a hidden gem that we still haven't seen yet with Raquel.
Right. No, I'm
So-
100% with you, but it was Rhea Ripley that took Raquel out of the match, costing her.
This is true because there's a story going on.
Yes.
I get that, but me personally, I'm a little upset. But I do agree with you that they shouldn't have said jack squat about Asuka coming back because that should have been a bigger pop.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an Asuka fan. I wasn't, but I am now.
Right.
Appreciate what she brings to the ring, her talent. Some things need to be worked on. I mean, you've been in America for how long and you still can't really speak English very well.
See, that's one of the things that I actually like about the Japanese wrestlers is, yes, they do have broken English,
Very, yes.
but I like it because they're not fitting the norm.
This is true, but I think your ability to communicate should be a lot better than what it is.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care if you got broken English, but your ability to use the proper words to get what you want across should be a lot better by now, in all honesty. But again, great female wrestler. I wish they wouldn't have said nothing. Just went, this person will be showing up. Don't know who it is. There is a fourth member for this match to be announced that night.
Yeah.
And then have her music hit.
Yeah.
Or have
100%.
the GM come out and say your mystery opponent is, and have that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It just would have been way more over the top, awesome
100%.
to just be like, oh, there's a mystery opponent. I wonder who. And dude, we would have guessed everybody but Asuka, guaranteed. We would have been like, oh, it's this person, that person.
Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Because
Now-
we would have been focusing on who's there.
Exactly, right? Like, who's on the roster right now that's not hurt that can show up? Because we thought she was still hurt because there was no huge reports that, oh, she's at this point in her rehab, blah, blah, blah. There was nothing.
Right.
But this match, I have rewatched it again because that's my thing. I go back and rewatch Raw. What a match.
Oh, absolutely.
Dude, these women put on a wrestling clinic. And what a way to start the show.
Right.
Was.
And I mean, and you've got Ivy Nile, who is really coming into her own. Few
She's
times
another-
we thought that she was going to steal this.
She was my pick.
Right.
I'm like, yeah, no, and again, she's the same as Raquel to me. She's got this gem, this diamond that just hasn't been polished the right way yet to get full potential out of this character. But
I am going to say this. I do think that, yes, they brought up the Creed brothers. They brought up Diamond Mine as a faction together.
right.
And I think that maybe they should have kept Ivy in NXT and given her a run with the NXT Women's North American title or the NXT Women's Championship first.
I wouldn't have been upset with that. I wouldn't even be upset with the idea of her going back and dominating that division at this point and saying, look, I can do it. Look at me.
See, and I don't think she's going to go back and dominate now. I
No.
think that there's way too many good women. Now, to see Ivy Nile and Jordan Grace,
Holy cow, dude. Never even thought of that.
Ivy Nile and Sol Ruka,
So here's it just kind of popped in my head, right? How, I don't want to say funny, but how ironic and the irony in the fact that we're like, there is too many good women wrestlers in each division at this point. It could go any way.
Yes.
Do you think like 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago we'd be saying that kind of thing?
No.
Like, can you believe that there's like all these? What? For real?
Yeah.
So this match was a good match. I'm absolutely thrilled Asuka wins, but it is what it is.
It is. And I'm not an Asuka fan, so I mean, I'm not upset that she won. It was really no surprise. I did have Raquel winning to fill Liv Morgan's spot, but it was also at that time that I thought we were going to get Raw versus Raw, SmackDown versus SmackDown with the two winners to face off. But we will touch on that a little bit later on in the preview section.
Yep. I'm reserving my opinion on that one right now.
Up next, AJ Styles and JD McDonough.
Wow. I'll tell anybody that's watching and you did not get to watch Raw last week. First off, watch the opening segment match. Okay, I'm telling you right now, those women, phenomenal. This match, I didn't know I needed this match until this match started. I never even thought. Let's put JD McDonough, one of what I would say the greatest talents to come out of Ireland.
Yes.
And then we got AJ Styles, the veteran AJ, the Hall of Famer in anywhere he's ever gone. Going head to head. Dude, I never even crossed my mind that I needed these two guys to have a match together until I started watching these two guys have a match together.
Yes, and this gives AJ Styles now the opportunity to face Dirty Dom one-on-one at Night of Champions for the Intercontinental Championship.
Yes, title on the line. I was going to ask, is it for sure the title on the line?
Yes.
And now I've heard rumors. Again, I'm stating rumors. I haven't confirmed it yet because I haven't been able to find. But I've heard that Judgment Day is banned from ringside.
Okay, that
during that match.
I haven't seen or heard anything on that.
Okay. It
wouldn't surprise me, but it also wouldn't surprise me if maybe there's somebody on the outside of Judgment Day that could get involved. And again, we will get into that here momentarily. Because our next match ended in heartbreak and a severely injured shoulder as Kairi Sane defeated Liv Morgan by referee stoppage.
Okay. Kairi Sane, is that not the same girl that monkeyed a spot and what's her name now is out with a knee injury? Isn't this the same girl that quote unquote hurt somebody else 2 weeks ago?
It was again just the way.
I know it was a fluke.
Yeah. Yes, Kairi was in the ring in that match with Rhea Ripley and Zoe Stark when Zoe's injury happened.
Yes.
And this one. And this was just, again, it wasn't even on the way.
No, it was totally fluke. Both of them are totally fluke. I'm trying to be that typical heel guy and be like, hey, that's 2 for 2, girl. I don't want to go against you as a wrestler now because you got a jinx on you. I'm going to get hurt. I'm just being that guy. I'm just being a pain.
Yeah.
It's very unfortunate. Again, it was a drop toe hold? And just the way Liv, and how many hundreds of millions of times have you taken this move? And it's just that one time you catch you're just a little off a little, and this one catches more than this one, and it goes up into your shoulder. So the only thing I could say is this sucks for Liv Morgan a lot because she's red hot right now.
Yes.
I am not at the best of days a Liv Morgan fan, but at the same time, as a ex-competitor, I don't want to see somebody get hurt.
No.
It breaks my heart to see people get hurt. So speedy recovery, Liv. Please take very good care of your shoulder. I've had the same injury. It if you don't do what the doctor says, you're in some deep hurt.
Yeah.
So speedy recovery, baby that shoulder for a little bit, and then come back and take that title back from, what's her name again? Roxanne? No. The one that's kind of in with
Roxanne
Balor.
Perez.
Roxanne Perez.
But
yes.
Roxanne doesn't even have the title yet. This whole injury puts those women's tag team titles in flux.
I heard they were going to get rid of them.
I've heard retirement.
Right?
I have also heard, and this
Go
is
ahead,
where
what
I
do you-
think they should go, and this is something I also suggested. You have Roxanne step up and take those tag team titles.
Right? Why can't you have Roxanne and Raquel Rodriguez defend them?
And learn together, figure it out.
Right? I'm not opposed to that, dude. But again, that's this week. We don't know. It could have, like, Trips could walk out and be like, okay, give me the titles, and throw them in a garbage bin and say, you know what, we're done with it.
Yeah.
Which breaks my heart, because if they do get rid of those women's tag titles, like what do we have for the women's tag team division now? Nothing.
Yes. So
Go ahead. What's next?
Up next, we did have Gunther come out to cut a promo
Okay.
where he did commend Jey Uso.
Yeah, which was weird.
And he commended, or, gave Jey credit for a good title run, defending the title. But, the title looks better on me.
Yeah,
When he was interrupted by the one guy that none of us really wanted to see, although we knew it was going to happen. And Gunther was told, "You're next."
This was, again, something you need to watch if you haven't seen it. I've never seen the body language on Gunther like we did with Goldberg, literally closer to him than this mic is close to my mouth. Like, they were nose to nose. Like, they knew what each other just ate or drank at that point.
Yeah.
And I've never seen Gunther actually be backed out of a ring.
Right.
Goldberg backed this guy out of the ring. Like, that doesn't you're the ring general. Like, that's my place. And you just had the most dominant force in WCW come to the ring and basically just go, guess what? You're my next opponent. You're my last opponent. Because apparently this is the last match we're ever going to see out of Goldberg now.
Yes.
That being said, does Goldberg play the card properly and get Gunther more over than he already is by Gunther beating him? Or does he go in there in true Goldberg fashion, jackhammer the snot out of the ring general, and walk away with the title?
I think that it's going to be Gunther retaining.
Yeah.
No questions asked. However, I do not think it is going to be as decisive as people think. I think Goldberg is probably going to go for, I'm going to say 7 to 10 minutes as opposed to 3.
So we're going to push him past his normal limit.
We are.
Okay.
But I'm also going to say this. Goldberg will win the match via DQ or a countout.
Okay. So he's going to win the match, but not the title.
Yes. Thus setting up that potential return match or a triple threat at SummerSlam.
So you see Goldberg coming back for a triple threat match with, I'm going to assume, Gunther, Goldberg, and Uso. Is that what you're thinking?
I'm thinking that, but it's also going to depend on where we go to the King of the Ring finals, and we will again discuss that in
Okay.
our preview section.
Well, let's get to the match that the men had for
Let's do
their
Let's
qualifying match.
Let's do it. And we had Jey Uso defeating Bronson Reed, Sheamus, and Rusev. Which one of those four superstars does not belong in that match?
Look at this. Dude, you just gave me goosebumps thinking about this match again. Yeah, with all these guys in this ring, Jey Uso is definitely the odd man out.
Yeah.
Definitely. Look at the size of, you got Bronson Reed, dude's pushing 350 at least. Sheamus, who is a mentalist when it comes to keeping in shape. And then who else did you say? LA Knight? That
Rusev.
dude's built. Like
Rusev.
Rusev. Rusev is, again, crazy and in shape.
He is. But you did touch on LA Knight, who did make himself a factor in this match by taking out Bronson Reed.
Because they have a bit of a beef, eh?
They do. Well, you figure it was Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed who eliminated LA Knight at Money in the Bank, allowing Seth Rollins to win.
Yes.
So they've been going back and forth between both shows.
Okay.
Battling each other.
Yeah, I think that's the only reason Mr. Uso won this match, is because one of the biggest guys was taken out of the match.
Yes.
And just, not even a factor.
I believe it was Bronson Reed who also ate the pin in this match because of Sheamus and Rusev brawling out of the ring and all over the place.
Yeah, I think that's how it went too. Well, let me.
Two other notable segments for me were a Bayley and Becky Lynch promo battle in the ring, with Bayley coming back, challenging Becky Lynch.
Yes.
And Becky saying, "You want my women's intercontinental title? You'll get it, but you're not getting it next week in Columbus."
No.
No, you're not going to get it tonight, but you can have me not for the title next week, in which guest general manager Nick Aldis reversed the decision.
Yes.
And said, yes, it will be for the Intercontinental Championship. But then an interesting conversation as well in the backstage area between Lyra Valkyria and Bayley.
Right. This is why I love wrestling. The stories that they can do, and make it make sense to why it's doing this, going between 3-4 different people.
Yes.
Love it.
And I mean, we are now building up to, we've got Night of Champions, which could be in flux right now. We're not sure. That's slated for this Saturday initially. Then you go to Saturday night's main event and NXT's Great American Bash, as well as Evolution.
Okay.
Middle of July. Leading up to SummerSlam at the start of August. And then Clash in Paris at the end of August is coming up very quickly too.
That's going to be epic, dude. There's so much going on for wrestling.
There really is. And we know that Gunther Goldberg will happen in Atlanta at Saturday night's main event.
Right? When is main event?
July the 12th.
Oh, that's the 12th. Oh, nice. I can't wait for that.
Right?
Can't wait. We got Best saying Goldberg won't come back. Saturday night main event will be his last match. So your theory kind of goes out the window for that. But it is his right to pick and choose whether he's going to have a bit of a storyline or a one and done.
Yes.
Because, I mean, it's a Hall of Famer Goldberg. Who's going to say no to him? It's money, right?
Yeah. On to the preview for tonight's show. And I'm hoping that this match goes my way. We do have, and this is going to be a little bit interesting here, Jade Cargill versus Roxanne Perez in a Queen of the Ring semifinal. The winner moves on to face Asuka at Night of Champions.
Okay. Oh, who do we pick? Because they're pushing Jade pretty hard right now.
They are. I know who I'm picking.
Who are you picking?
I've got Roxy.
See, and I'm kind of going, no, she's doing her own thing. And then if they're going to go with that route of her maintaining the title for, I think Cargill wins this match. And the sad part is it's probably going to be a quick match.
No, it won't be a quick match. I actually, believe it or not, I have Roxanne doing the Lyra Valkyria thing from last year and going to the finals. Do I think she's going to win? No, but I do think that Jade is going to potentially be attacked again by Naomi because Naomi can go anywhere with that Money in the Bank.
Yeah, she's not restricted to one show. She can go any NXT, Raw, SmackDown. She can jump wherever she wants.
Now, do we get, and I don't think we're going to get it tonight, but I could also potentially see a Bianca Belair returning instead of Naomi to cost Jade.
So one of the two ex-best friends of Jade. But Mr. Best does have a point here. He's picking Jade to win the entire tournament and become Queen of the Ring. How do you feel about that? Because who you have picked.
I wouldn't be upset about it. Jade has come a long way from being the female Goldberg.
Yes. You're not wrong.
But again, I don't think Jade is ready for the title or needs the title. I think if you're going to do it, you let her have a run with the Women's Intercontinental or the Women's U.S. Championship first. Okay.
I know Best is going to have something to say about that, so I'm waiting for that opinion. I don't know if she like she doesn't. Here's the thing: as Queen of the Ring, you get a title shot, correct? At SummerSlam, you don't even have to let her win the title. She could go in, have the greatest match ever, and still lose, and still look good because she's the Queen of the Ring.
Yeah, right? I think a Jade Naomi match is very, very intriguing. Or sorry, not Jade Naomi Tiffany Stratton match is very, very intriguing. But I think that Tiffany's experience and abilities still outweigh Jade.
See, and I like how Best puts this. Jade wins, right? Goes on to win the title only for Naomi to cash it in and steal that moment from her, from Jade.
And I think that's a lot of people's thinking, and I think that that's maybe a little ill-advised and rushed on the briefcase. I think that you do need to try and reintroduce Bianca Belair into this situation first. So if you can have Bianca cost Jade the match and Naomi potentially cash in on Tiffany, then I think you're still rushing it, but I think at the same time it adds a lot more to it.
Okay, so question then. How long has Jade been in WWE on the main roster?
2 years?
2 years. Why is it rushed if it's 2 years?
because I still don't think she's ready for it. I think cashing in Naomi's Money in the Bank would be rushed to do it this quickly.
I don't, dude. I've seen people win the Money in the Bank and that night cashing in.
Oh, I know.
Like,
and don't get me wrong, I love those moments, but I think that Naomi needs the time. Let herself cook. Let this heel character fully flourish.
I like Mr. Best here. I got to put this one up. I know it's in that little chat let's put this up. This is Mr. Best. I've been correct on Money in the Bank cash-ins. Remember, a certain someone got pissed at me for being correct at WrestleMania 40. He hasn't been wrong about cash-ins, how they're going to happen, when they're going to happen. He's been dead on. So I'm not betting against this one. And it's kind of what I want to see too. I want to see this match, and then Jade is just about ready to have her moment, and boom, she gets knocked out. Title gets stolen from her. Talk about just adding gasoline to that fuel for that rivalry. Dude, if I was Jade Cargill and my moment was this close and it got stolen from me, do you know how irate? Like, what a way to turn her from babyface to heel.
Right.
Again, people, we have no idea. This is all personal opinions. We don't have a script saying, oh, yeah, we know Jade Cargill's going to do this and that. This is all estimated guesses and just how we feel.
Yes. Do I think that Roxanne would win the title at SummerSlam? No, I don't. But personally, I am a bigger fan of Roxanne. I have been watching her a lot longer. And I just love what she brings to the ring. On to the Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Becky Lynch versus Bayley tonight.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, right. Tell me how you feel about this. Like, the whole thing is basically fallout from WrestleMania and a couple other events that they've been to. So how does this resonate with you?
This, believe it or not, this is fresh for both of them. They have never had a legitimate one-on-one feud.
Okay.
So I am excited for it. Again, I think this is where Lyra is really going to come into play.
Yes.
And I think that I'm going to go beyond Night of Champions, and I'm going to go to Evolution, and we are going to get a triple threat match.
That's correct, right? Like, let's not forget that the women have an entire pay-per-view Evolution coming up. And it's not just WWE. It's a lot of women across the board from different promotions.
Well, it's a WWE event, and then whoever they choose to bring in.
Yeah, I know there's Triple A's got some women coming, NXT, TNA, like all these different.
I'm not going to be surprised to see them there. We also know that the NXT Women's Championship is going to be on the line at Evolution.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. I cannot wait to see that PL.
Right.
But I do think that potentially I don't even see this match happening tonight.
You just see it breaking down into pure shenanigans.
I think even beforehand, you're going to see Bayley and Becky fighting in the back, Lyra trying to get her nose in there. One of them is going to get laid out.
Whoa. Okay.
And that's fine. This feud between the three of them is putting a real shine and a spotlight on that Women's Intercontinental Championship. I am here for it. It has been the driving force, so much so that Io Sky, as the Women's World Heavyweight Champion, has taken a backseat to the Intercontinental Championship.
Which, is that not the same thing that happens with the IC title itself for the men? It happens sometimes where the IC title becomes more dominant than your heavyweight title, which is not a bad thing because it should sometimes be bigger than your big title because it's your workhorse title. You want to see that thing every week, where the heavyweight title is more of a should be more of a spectacle. It should be more limited. Like you only see it certain events and pay-per-views.
And that's where I think that, you know, guys like Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns got it right with the heavyweight titles, only doing the part-time and really 6, maybe 8 PLEs a year to make them not only themselves, but that title an attraction.
Which is what it was back in the day.
Exactly.
Your heavyweight title was it wasn't the main attraction, but it was the attraction of, hey, listen, our heavyweight champion is going to be at Toronto's, you know, blah, blah, blah chamber match. And then you don't see him for a couple months. And then you see him a couple times on the main show because he's starting a feud with somebody. And then, okay, at this pay-per-view, I'm going to be there and I'm going to, you know, blah, blah, blah. And then you don't see him for a little bit.
Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
No.
That is like you said, Brock and Roman, dudes nailed it. But who's winning this match? Who do you see winning it? Bayley? If there's a win, I know we've already discussed, like, we think it's going to be pure shenanigans and it's going to break down into anarchy. But if you have to pick one,
it is going to be Bayley winning by probably by a DQ or a count out.
And not getting the title.
Yeah.
So a win, but no title.
Yeah. Because I think Becky's going to take that powder. She's going to be walking back up. That's when Lyra's going to come out.
And that's going to cause a DQ. And because as soon as you lay your hands on somebody else.
I'm not even going to say that Lyra's going to lay hands right off the bat.
Oh, no?
No. Becky will be doing the back up the aisle, back into Lyra, who's standing there.
Okay.
Run back to the ring, powder out, and go through the crowd.
Okay. Let's move on to the next one.
This next one you're going to absolutely love. We've seen it before. We are going to see it again. Braun Breaker and Penta.
We already know who I picked.
Yep. And I'm taking Penta too because of the LA Knight factor.
Yeah, there's, again, that story, right? You got so many things that could happen because of other stories that are going on. Like, I'm pumped.
Do we see this? And I'm going to put this one out to you.
All right.
Breaking down early, Adam Pearce, who is back from holiday, comes out and says, no, that's not ending this way. It's now going to be Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed versus Penta and LA Knight.
Take my money. Take my money. I am a giant LA Knight fan. I mean, honestly, I'm a fan of all these guys. Really. Right? I respect the days out of Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed. Together as a tag team, they could be unstoppable, like they're Breaker's old man and his uncle. And then throw in the charisma and everything of LA Knight, and then the lucha styling of Penta. Dude, here, take my card.
Yep. And then let's not forget about the Seth Rollins and Paul Heyman factor in the corner of Bronson and Braun.
Here's the thing. I don't even think that's a factor because those two big dudes, if you get the upper hand on both of these big guys, the other two guys in the group aren't even going to be a factor, because if you can get on top of and working those two guys, who else needs to help them? Nobody. You can't, because they're just so big.
Right.
And then talk about not even just big. Breaker, do not let that dude run the ropes.
No.
Don't.
No.
Break a leg, do something to him so he can't run, because I'm not taking a spear at 200 mile an hour. Forget it.
Right. We are going to get Adam
Okay.
Pearce returning as Raw's GM here tonight because he was on holidays last week with Nick Aldis filling in.
Yes.
What do we expect from Adam Pearce amidst all of this chaos?
If that breaks down, he's just going to lay the law down like Adam Pearce does. He's going to be like, no, this is how it's going to be. And he's going to, I was literally just going to be like, he's going to pull a Stone Cold and be like, that's the bottom line because I said so.
Okay.
And if you don't like it, too bad.
Okay. As well, we are going to get a Goldberg segment. Goldberg is expected to be at every Raw until Saturday night's main event, with the
Which is
exception
what,
of
2
one.
weeks?
3.
3? Okay.
12.
So we're going to see him for what? 2 weeks, maybe 3, and then Saturday night's main event. I'm not upset about that. Again, Goldberg, money. He's putting butts in seats and money in my pocket. Yeah, come on. If you want to make every Rock, show up.
Okay.
We'll make room for you.
Okay. We're also going to get Seth Rollins appearing.
Okay.
We saw something on SmackDown, and I know you were there for the security detail, as we did have Bronson Reed in action, I do believe.
Okay.
And Paul Heyman was there with the Money in the Bank briefcase to let them know that it's looming, but no Seth Rollins. So now we've got Seth Rollins is going to be there.
Yeah.
Is he going to come out and interrupt a Goldberg? Is he going to come out and interrupt that segment with Gunther? Or does he just bide his time?
I think, super awesome question, by the way. No, if I was Seth Rollins, I don't need to be heard. I don't need to be seen. I personally, my guys go out, I would totally send that briefcase with Heyman all the time, because the briefcase is around, I'm around, right?
Yeah.
So it's that subliminal messaging of I'm always here. Even when you can't see me.
You took the actions directly off of my arm, chair of my arm.
I had to do it. But it's all here. It's all mental play, because if you see the briefcase, that man's around.
Yes.
So you're constantly always like, okay, well, I know Heyman's standing here with the briefcase. Where's the man that is supposed to be holding that briefcase? You're always looking, right? So that in itself, for whoever's holding a title, that's complete mental manipulation on his part. Like, brilliant move. Even if that wasn't his idea, and that's a Paul Heyman idea, because I've got a funny feeling it is. Brilliant to let that kind of thing happen. Brilliant. Because I know if I'm champion and I see a briefcase, like I said, I know the dude's here. Where is he? I'm always looking at. I'm never 100% focused on who's in front of me, because he's got to be here. Like, he's not gonna send Paul Heyman to a show with the briefcase without him being here.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There is another match here on our list that's not on our list tonight.
Oh, dude, what is it?
The other King of the Ring semifinal.
Which one's that?
Cody and Jay.
Oh, dude. That's tonight?
That's tonight.
Oh, my God, dude. Okay, we need to discuss this one for a couple minutes. Number one, how do you see this match going?
I see this as we are going to get Cody Randy in the final.
Okay, so you see Cody winning this match over Jey Uso.
I do.
Why?
To get Cody back to Cena and for that title match at SummerSlam.
Okay.
But we've also seen Randy say he wants to get back to Cena. And this is where I do, and I said this going into this tournament, I see a heel Randy Orton coming out of it.
So my question is Randy Orton ever truly a babyface or a heel? Truly, like 100%. I don't see it. I see Randy Orton as being that guy that's in the middle, that literally 1 minute he's got like bipolar kind of thing, or
Right.
split personality, I guess, where depending on how the match is going, he's gonna go, oh, I'm the babyface.
Right.
I'm the good guy. I'm gonna have a little fun here. Or if you do something completely absurd, he's going heel Randy, and he's like listening to
Right.
the voices.
And I think in this situation, because I've also said it, I could actually see the Cody heel turn coming out of this tournament.
Holy cow.
But this is where things get interesting because, and I got to go back a couple of years to what put Randy on the shelf for 18 months, which was a tag team title match against the Usos.
Right.
And we know that he's had the issues with the bloodline, although he paired off with Jay at Survivor Series 2 years ago. There's been nothing but love.
Well, what's best for business?
Exactly. And Jay needs to get back to Gunther if that's the route they choose to go.
Okay.
So it's very, very intriguing, but I think it's going to be Cody. I think it has to be.
Okay.
Do I think that Cody wins the title at SummerSlam? No.
So for me, the match, obviously, is going to start out very respectful. These two guys are going to come in, shake hands, and then somewhere in the match, something's going to happen, and one of them's going to turn very heel-ish against the other one.
Right.
Because what they did was kind of dirty, and they're going to, hey, I get we're bros, but in here we're not.
Right. They said this last week that it is just business.
You know, and I can definitely see them defining between outside the ring and inside the ring. They can. But if you want that heel turn of one of the two, it's got to start against each other.
Yeah.
And that's just personal, how I feel. It's going to be a great match because both these guys can go. We both know that. So it's not going to be some, oh, yay, this is another wrestling. No, this is going to be a wrestling match.
Yes, this I believe is our main event of the evening. But there's two other names that, they had a backstage confrontation last week. And one of them said, as soon as I am done with the King of the Ring, I'm going to Pierce and I'm getting a match made with you. And I'm talking about Sami Zayn and Karrion Kross.
Yes. Dude. Another guy that has been kind of just lurking in the shadows, Mr. Kross, I'm talking about. Just kind of poking his head out, running his mouth a little bit, and then he comes back into the shadow and he comes back out and beaks at somebody else, and I think he's been doing it on purpose to try to pick at people to see who's going to take the bait of, okay, that's it. I'm done with you. I want to have a match. I want to beat you like a redheaded stepchild till you're this big again, But I don't see that happening.
Right.
I see Kross coming out and letting Sami hit him with what Sami has as the best moves and just eating it and then absolutely destroying the soul of Sami Zayn.
See, and I was going to say, I think it's going to go the other way. I know we're not going to get a squash match.
No, by no means, no.
But I think that, and I think you're right in the end that it's going to be Kross that crushes Sami, and we get that Sami heel turn as well. And then Sami can come out and say, I did it for Kevin.
Wow. Wow. Like there's so many possibilities too with with Mr. Cross is because the potential of him recruiting people into a group
Right?
and following his leadership, because the guy's a great leader in a group. You just got to find the right group of people to make it worthwhile to possibly be the group to go after the Wyatts,
Right?
because they're in a tremendous tag team story right now on SmackDown too. So
Oh, they are. In fact, at Night of Champions, the Wyatts have a tag team title shot.
whoa, that's cool.
But speaking of leadership,
Yeah,
do you know what we should lead the people to?
you go right ahead and play that wonderful information.
Turnbuckle Studios and the Turnbuckle Affiliation Program bring you the week of streams. All times are in Eastern Time. Monday nights you get the Locker Room Breakdown at 7 p.m., followed by the Raw Patrol at 8 p.m. Tuesday brings you the flagship show, Turnbuckle Talk, at 8:05 p.m. Wednesday we play games with the PlayStation Showcase at 8 p.m. Thursday we got total non-stop action with Brace for Impact at 8 p.m. Friday we game again with Unleashed, the Jessica Wilde story at 7 p.m. Following the game, join us for the SmackDown Security Detail at 8 p.m. The weekend brings you Saturday Night Gaming at 8 p.m. On Sunday be sure to catch the Chris Parrish podcast at 12:15 p.m. followed by the Boar's Nest at 8 p.m. Be part of the shows and join the chat every day.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where you can find us each and every night of the week. If you want to get your break in podcasting, content creation, potential collaborations, you have an idea for a show, or you just want to help us out behind the scenes,
Trick you.
check us out here at turnbucklestudios.org. There is a chance to meet the team, including the two of us, as well as Carl Carafel, Chris Parrish, Chris Best. Send us an email there. Check out episodes of our latest shows. All of it.
Yes.
We are going to head out of here to head over to the Raw Patrol. Before we do, I want to shout out this guy, the Bulkster. Find him socially on YouTube and on TikTok, both at Bulkster Show. Just because he is the guy that does all of the work behind the scenes here for us at the Locker Room Breakdown.
Thanks,
and this
Bob.
show wouldn't be done properly without him. Bubba, where can the people find you?
Yeah, dude. YouTube, Bubba Duke Show. Twitchland is Boar's Nest with Bubba Duke. Thanks for checking us out. Appreciate it.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you're looking for me, you can find me on my Linktree, linktr.ee/OMD show. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to get on out of here and get going to the Raw Patrol, where you can find us over on the Turnbuckle Studios YouTube.
Yep.
So, ladies and gentlemen, from all of us here at Turnbuckle Affiliation Program and the Locker Room Breakdown, to those of you out there wherever you are, good night, good luck.
If I